Don't disown me as your stepmother after you get into college. I don't want your house. When you make money, if you really want to thank me, just give me some money. I added. Jiang-sun was speechless. Short-sighted. How can loving money be short-sighted? The little brat doesn't know anything. Okay, finish the questions. I'll check them after I take a shower. By the way, wash the dishes too. To ensure nutrition, I often cook for Jiang-sun, but I don't like to wash dishes. An hour later, I came out. The dishes were washed, the papers were done, and Jiang-sun fell asleep on the table. When the boy fell asleep, his eyebrows were relaxed. He was no longer gloomy and violent during the day, but had a few softness. He looked much more youthful. Right? This is what a teenager looks like in puberty. I put the papers into his school bag and was about to wake him up and go into the room, but someone grabbed my wrist. Jiang Yu. Calling me. I went over. Are you still running? Have you forgotten what you did to me before? Lock you up and break your legs, that'll be all right. Oh my God. I was startled with a cold sweat on my back, and I hurriedly shook his hand off. Thinking of my ending in the book, I stepped back in fear, bumped into a chair, and fell on my butt. The noise woke Jiang-sun up. There was a sharp look in his eyes that he hadn't had time to retract, and a drowsy look from just waking up. For a moment, I couldn't tell whether it was my hallucination or the truth. Why are you sitting on the ground? No matter how you look at it, he's just an ordinary teenager. It must be a dream. I covered my pounding heart. I want to cool down. Get up. As soon as the words fell, the door creaked open. Jiang Wenli, who hadn't been seen for a few months, came back. His face was greasy, and he was holding a barbecue in his hand. He looked in a good mood. When he saw me sitting on the ground, his face immediately fell, and he scolded Jiang-sun, "Did you bully your mother again?" No. I hurriedly got up. I fell down by myself. Jiang Wenli thought it was unlikely, so he didn't care. Go get some wine, have a drink with me. I didn't understand who he was calling, and I heard Jiang-sun's reply. She doesn't drink. Is she your wife or mine? Go to sleep. After saying that, his eyes fell on me, staring at me thoughtfully for a while. Tonight, sleep in my room. What ghost story is he talking about? I feel a little uncomfortable today. Jiang Wenli, be a human being. Jiang-sun suddenly said, you are as old as she is, you can be her father. Jiang Wenli was furious, and threw the barbecue in his hand directly at Jiang-sun. Are you teaching me how to do things? The bamboo stick exposed outside the plastic bag rubbed Jiang-sun's face, leaving a red mark on the cold white skin and oozing tiny blood beads. Jiang-sun seemed not to feel any pain. You bully little girls, and instead of being a gambler and a drunkard, you become a beast? He didn't give in at all, and every word stabbed Jiang Wenli's heart. Yes, you are a beast. What do I expect you to do as a human being? Sure enough, Jiang Wenli, who didn't do anything, had a gloomy face that could drip water. I am a beast and you can't run away. I am a big beast and you are a small beast. If not, why do you hurt the enemy 1,000 and hurt yourself 800? For a moment, I didn't know what expression to make. Jiang Wenli seemed to feel that his words were ridiculous, but it was hard to make up for what he had said. His eyes fell on the open school bag hanging on the chair, and a light suddenly flashed in his turbid eyes. He lifted it with his hand, and the books inside poured out. He grabbed a paper and tore it into pieces. Do you think you are different from me just by pretending to go to school for a few days? I am a gambler and a drunkard, and you are the son of a gambler and a drunkard. You will bear the burden for the rest of your life, and you are destined to rot here. It was raining outside the window, and tonight was destined to be unpeaceful. Jiang Wenli left, but he left a mess. These days, I watched Jiang-sun become a little popular, like a student, but after he messed it up, it seemed that all was in vain. The boy stood there, full of loneliness, and even the light could not shine into his eyes. Despair. Being trampled into the mud by relatives. It's not like I haven't heard how the neighbors talk about Jiang Wenli and Jiang Sun. It seems that with such a father, all possibilities are denied, and even the slightest good thing will not be associated with him. Little unlucky star, jerk, restless, sooner or later he will go to the police station, do all the bad things, not a good student. At home, he is talked about. At school, his classmates are afraid of him, but they also look down on him. Villains are not cultivated overnight. If it weren't for such an environment and external factors, Jiang Sun would have a completely different future. I suddenly felt a little sorry for this boy. Sit down, your face is disfigured, and those girls who have a crush on you in school will see you tomorrow, and they will be heartbroken. I took out an iodine cotton swab. Jiang Sun raised his eyes, with a strong self-loathing in his eyes. He pushed me away and returned to his gloomy look with thorns all over his body. Get away, I don't need your sympathy. Fuck. I can't stand it anymore. I slapped him on the head, with full force. Why are you acting melancholy to me? Such a small thing knocked you down, a 1.85-meter tall boy? Jiang Sun, you are such a coward. What did you say? Jiang Sun's eyes were even more fierce. Damn, being taller than me is great, right? I stepped on the table and scolded him condescendingly. You want to compare your misery? Well, my parents died when I was a child, and I was sent to my uncle's house. My aunt didn't like me. I had good grades and dropped out of high school. My grandmother, the only one who was good to me, was sick. I had no choice but to marry into your family and marry your father, a gambler, so that my aunt would treat my grandmother. I am only 24, and I have an 18-year-old son. Tell me, who is more miserable? I became more and more angry. I even slapped Jiang Sun. At least you can go to school. If you have no money, I will support you. I will accompany you. I have not given up on you. I am not afraid. What a coward. Are you still a man? The living room was silent. Jiang Sun did not speak, staring at me straight. My rationality returned, and I felt scared now. It won't be too much. I blinked, climbed down from the table, and planned to be firm and gentle. Well, I was emotional just now, and my words were a bit harsh, but... Suddenly, a hand covered my waist and the whole person was pulled over. The boy embraced warmly, and his breath was as clear as snow. I was a little confused. You said, stay with me, and keep your promise. His voice was hoarse like sand. After speaking, he let go of me, picked up the books on the ground and went into the room. Good night, Jiang Yu. No, it's done? From that day on, Jiang Sun and I became closer. He no longer skipped classes, completed his homework seriously, his grades gradually stabilized, and he would tell me about his affairs. The point is, this kid looks cold, but he protects me. He can't stand others saying anything bad about me. I hate washing dishes, so he washes them. I don't like cleaning, so he sweeps. I'm thirsty and want water, so I ask him to. Although he looks stinky, he still brings it to me. During festivals, he will quietly prepare small surprises for me. Raising a son is good, raising a son is much better. That day, his head teacher called me and asked me to go to school. I asked for leave and went home to change clothes. When I went out, I ran into Jiang Wenli, who came back. He drank, but not to the point of being drunk, but I was still on guard. That kid, is he really going to take the college entrance examination? You instigated it? What do you mean I instigated it? If students don't take the college entrance examination, what else do they take? Sweet potatoes? He didn't say which college he would take the examination for. I was talking nonsense. What university can your son get into? Nanxiang technician, New Oriental chef, or maybe excavator. I don't know which one, and he didn't tell me. Jiang Wenli thought it made sense. You hated him before, so why? You couldn't get the house from me, so you set your sights on that guy? I tell you, the house is mine, and it has nothing to do with him. Don't expect him to repay you in the future, he's very hard-hearted. You said it as if you were soft-hearted. Do you think he looks like me? This is very subtle. If you think he looks like me, that's fine. Jiang Wenli didn't know what he was thinking, and took a sip of beer. Well, you tear up his admission ticket again for the college entrance examination this year, and I'll return your household registration book and ID card to you after that. Jiang Wenli really didn't want Jiang Sun to be well. I couldn't argue with him clearly, so I said, okay. On the way to school, I felt a little complicated. I entered the school and found his head teacher, who smiled when he saw me. Jiang Sun's mother, Jiang Sun, really surprised me. At the beginning of the school year, I thought you were bragging when you said he could get into Tsinghua or Peking University. I didn't expect that he really has some potential. You must supervise him well and don't let him down. My Jiang Sun has always been very smart, but it was family reasons that delayed him. Now that I am here, the previous things will not happen again. By the way, that boy is handsome and popular with girls. I have confiscated a drawer of love letters. You must keep a close eye on him and don't let his studies affect him. Don't worry, teacher. My Jiang Sun will never fall in love too early. Unexpectedly, on the way out of the school gate, I ran into Jiang Sun and a girl standing at the door of a small shop and chatting. The girl blushed and blushed. Jiang Sun, it's my birthday next Saturday, can you come and join me? Jiang Sun had a blank expression on his face. Sorry, I'm busy. Jiang. Yi Huan. Jiang Sun frowned, looking impatient. I told you long ago, don't follow me, it's annoying. But the moment he saw me, his frown instantly relaxed, and he strode towards me. Why are you at school? Huh? Yi Huan. The original heroine. In the original text, she accompanied Jiang Sun through the most difficult times, saved him, and became his light, so the two of them naturally got together and became a recognized couple, but because of my arrival, many things have changed. Is that why Jiang Sun rejected her? Yi Huan is a very good girl. She is good-looking, has good character, good grades, and is kind. She never leaves Jiang Sun. She is the kind of person you can't find even with a lantern. If you miss her, she's gone. Studying is important, but you can't let your future wife run away. Of course, at his age, I can't encourage premature love. If a female classmate invites you to her birthday party, just go and relax. Not interested. She is in the same class as you, just treat it as a formality. Girls are thin-skinned. She must be very sad if you reject her like this. Jiang Sun was silent for a moment. Didn't you see it? What? She is interested in me. Having said that, I can't continue to play dumb. You are handsome, it's not strange that she likes you. I think the girl is also very nice. If you like. Of course, I don't encourage premature love. At this stage, you should focus on studying. What I mean is that you two can agree on a good university and work hard together. Are you going to match me with her? Jiang Sun sneered and turned away. No, where can I find such a considerate stepmother like me? Why is he still angry? What a coincidence. I just saw Yi Huan at school, and I saw her again a few days later. She was holding a bag and standing downstairs of my house. Are you looking for Jiang Sun? Yi Huan nodded. I've seen you. You came to school to look for him that day. Yi Huan ran away with red eyes that day, and I didn't have time to say hello to her. I'm his stepmother. Yi Huan's expression was stunned for a moment. Stepmother, I thought. Hello, aunt. She seemed to react after shouting, her face flushed. No, hello, sister. So cute, worthy of being my future daughter-in-law. Jiang Sun didn't feel well in the afternoon and asked for leave. He forgot to take his math test paper and has to hand it in tomorrow. Please help me pass it to him. There was also an iron box with a bow on the test paper. Is he sick? Yes, he has a fever. Didn't he go home? I haven't gone home yet. Thank you for running. I'll go back first. I went upstairs and went home. The lights in the living room were not on. Jiang-sun lay listlessly on the sofa, his brows furrowed, his breathing heavied. I reached out and touched his forehead, it was burning hot. Jiang-sun, wake up, you need to take medicine. Before I could get up, his slender knuckles grabbed my wrist, and I was pulled down by him, almost bumping into him. Jiang-sun opened his eyes were red from burning, bloodshot, and even his voice was hoarse. Come closer. His slender and hot hands held mine and pressed directly against his face. Cool. You need to take medicine. As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang-sun's head seemed to hurt even more, and a trace of impatience flashed across his sick face. He propped himself up, reached out and grabbed my neck, and pulled me to his side. Don't make noise. My back stiffened, and the close distance made me feel weird in my heart. My breathing was trembling, and I felt hot and uncomfortable, as if I had a fever. I pushed him away. This is cooler. I took the iron box and put it on his face. Jiang-sun took it. Is it for me? Yes. A barely perceptible light flashed across his emotionless eyes. Yihuan gave it to you. She brought you the test paper. She knew you were sick and was very worried. With a pop, the iron box was thrown on the table. Jiang-sun's face darkened. You accept things from anyone? Jiang-sun was angry after meeting Yihuan last time, and he had been cold to me for a long time. He was still like this now. She is your classmate. I don't want it. Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with a patient. I took out the antipyretic medicine from the drawer, watched him finish drinking it, and then sent him back to the room, and watched him fall asleep before leaving. I went in again halfway through. When I got to his bedside, Jiang-sun suddenly opened his eyes and looked straight at me with his dark eyes. My heartbeat slowed down a beat when he looked at me. Did I wake you up? Don't leave. He reached out and pulled me to sit on the edge of the bed, then leaned over and rested his head in my arms. I froze and pushed him subconsciously. But he grabbed my hand and held it with a stronger force. Stay with me, Mom. A fragile, even humble and flattering voice. My heart ached. I breathed a sigh of relief, but I felt an indescribable discomfort. So, he treated me like his mother. Time flies, and soon it was the last provincial unified examination. I got up early, sent him to school, and gave him serious instructions. Keep a calm mind, do the easy ones first and then the difficult ones. If you really don't know, write more steps and formulas, and don't leave them blank. 1 point is a point. After saying that, he thought of something else. Don't write your English composition too sloppily, or you will be deducted. Suddenly, a student next to me ran into the school holding his stomach, and I was hit hard and fell heavily into Jiang-sun's arms. In my ears, he groaned softly. The boy's chest was hard and hot. It was summer, and he was wearing cool clothes. The temperature on his body seemed to penetrate his clothes and pass through. Even my body was burning. Are you okay? Jiang-sun's Adam's apple rolled, and his voice was a little hoarse. He looked down at me with a dark look. I heard my strong heartbeat and took a step back. What's the matter? Go in quickly. Don't be late. Jiang-sun stared at me for a moment, but finally said nothing and turned to go into the school. The provincial exam results came out very quickly, and Jiang-sun did very well. When Jiang-sun sent the report card to my phone, I looked at it again and again. It happened to be Sunday, and I booked a very popular hot pot restaurant to celebrate with him. We agreed to meet at the hot pot restaurant. I waited and waited, but he didn't come. I called him, but no one answered his phone. I went back. As soon as I went upstairs, the door was open, and the strong smell of blood accompanied by the smell of cigarettes and alcohol hit me. There were blood stains on the floor at the door, winding into the house. The tight thread in my brain broke, and I was indescribably panicked. The room was smashed into a mess, and the cheap and beautiful bowls I carefully selected were smashed to the ground, and the peony leaves on the coffee table were withered all over the floor. Even the doll Jiang-sun had grabbed for me on the sofa had its head cut off and lay messily on the floor. Jiang-sun's cell phone was lying on the floor, broken into pieces. Jiang-sun. With a creak, the bathroom door opened and Jiang-sun came out, his hair dripping with water. Your dad is back again, did he fight with you? He wants to beat me. It's okay, just some superficial injuries. Apart from the wounds on his forehead and the back of his hand, there was no injury. I was worried, so I lifted the hem of his t-shirt, and when I pulled it up, a pair of bony hands grabbed it. Jiang-sun's eyes were dark. What do you want to do? Let me see if there are any other injuries. No. I don't believe it. The t-shirt was lifted up, and Jiang-sun's extremely tense abdominal muscles were exposed to the air, with smooth lines, and the mermaid line was hidden in the gray lace-up casual pants. There were really no other injuries. The boy was so good-looking that I couldn't help but look at him again. A string of English letters was faintly visible on his waist where his pants covered his abdomen. Tattoo? I didn't see clearly, so I subconsciously leaned over. It seemed like something moved, and someone pinched the back of my neck, blocking my view. Jiang-sun's voice was a little hoarse. Didn't you see enough? Do you want to take off your pants for you to check? No. Why was it so hot that day? It was so hot that my brain was dull for a few seconds, and then I remembered that Jiang Wenli asked me to tear up Jiang-sun's admission ticket again. The college entrance examination is coming soon. I don't know when your dad will come back to make trouble. I will rent a house for you in front of your school. You can come back after the college entrance examination. It's all right. I'm going to take a shower. We're going out for hot pot later. Why are you taking a shower now? It's hot. When I heard the sound of water splashing in the bathroom, I froze. I must have thought too much. Yes, that's right. Jiang Yu, you have a heart, and everything you see is dirty. I rented a house in the village outside Jiangshuan School for 800 yuan. It had a kitchen and a small living room. Jiangshuan refused to live there by himself, so I had to move in with him. He drew the curtain in the living room and gave the room to me. I had almost packed my things, so I went downstairs to buy some daily necessities. Suddenly, a big plate-like face appeared in front of me. Aunt? Why are you here? The middle-aged woman pulled me aside.